Hey, what is going on, guys? It's Young here, and today I'm back in another Fortnite video, and in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys the best dead zones to use here in Fortnite, because I get asked quite a bit about my dead zones, and there is a few misconceptions on what to use and what is going to be the best dead zones for you. So I want to share with you guys the best dead zones to choose from and to use when it comes to being able to play better, being able to build a lot faster, and also edit more quickly here in this game. So definitely stay tuned in the video if you guys are looking for some new dead zones to try out. And real quick, before we get into the video, I have a V-Buck giveaway. I give away 2,000 V-Bucks every single Friday. So if you guys would like to participate in the next giveaway and win some free V-Bucks, all you guys have to do is to drop a like on this video. Make sure you guys do subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell so you guys get notified for every single new upload and when I announce the winners every Friday. And lastly, make sure you guys put down your Xbox gamer tag, your PSN gamer tag, or Epic account down in the comment section below, and you guys will be automatically entered into the giveaway. And lastly, if you guys like to support me in the item shop, all you guys have to do, go down to the bottom right, hit on support a creator, type in my creator code, which is Young Humor, and you guys will have me added and supported as a creator in the item shop. And alright guys, let's go right to the video. Alright, so in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys the best dead zones to use here in Fortnite. So going into my settings and showing you guys the dead zones that I currently use. So right now, I'm currently playing on a 9% and an 8% for my dead zones, but in this video, I really want to specifically talk about how you can have the best dead zones for you, because there is a few things that you guys have to do and a few misconceptions when it comes to choosing your dead zones, because honestly, when it comes to choosing your dead zones, that's something that you have to choose. You can't really just copy someone's dead zones, otherwise maybe it's just not the best fit for your controller. So as far as your move stick dead zone and what you want to have, now with this dead zone, it's really important because you don't want to play on too low of a dead zone for your move analog stick, because what can happen, as you can see here, you're going to have a little bit of stick drift. And the reason why this is so bad and you can't have any stick drift at all on your move analog stick is if you're trying to, like, say, pop a mini or pop a med kit, what's going to happen is it's going to cancel that med kit or mini right away. So you have to make sure that when it comes to your move stick dead zone, that you play on a dead zone in which you don't have any sort of movement at all or any sort of stick drift when you're moving, because otherwise, like I said, it's going to cancel your minis, cancel your med kit. And I've had a couple of times where I played on too low of a dead zone. I was down at like 20 HP, and then my character moved by itself when it was like 2 seconds left on my med kit. And it's the most frustrating thing ever. So you have to make sure when you're choosing the right move stick dead zone for you, that you play on a dead zone that you don't have any stick drift at all. You don't want to play on like a crazy high dead zone. Just move it up and adjust it to where you don't have any stick drift at all. So go to the dead zone of which you don't have any stick drift, like just higher, and then move it up one more, so you're 2 percentage points higher than when you have any stick drift, and that's going to be a great dead zone for you guys to use. So for myself, once again, I don't get any stick drift after 7%. So if I'm on 8%, I don't get any stick drift, and I move it up one more point. So that way, if my controller starts having a little bit of drift, maybe like a couple weeks or maybe a couple months down the road, having that extra percentage point buffer really helps out a lot. So I play on a 9%. Now, as far as your look stick dead zone, the dead zone that you use to look around, now this one's extremely important as well. So if you play on too high of a dead zone for your look stick, what's going to happen is it's going to make everything feel super sluggish. So I put it on like a 30% just to show. Now it's a lot easier to feel than just to watch, but you can see everything feels a lot more sloppy and just not as clean. So that's just one of the problems you're going to have if you play on too high of a dead zone. So as far as the perfect dead zone to play on, honestly, you want to play as low as you can. But of course, when you play on a low dead zone, so here I put it on 5%, you see everything everything feels super fast, everything feels super responsive and super clean. I'm able to have really good free builds without messing up whatsoever. So a lower dead zone is going to be a huge plus for a lot of players. But of course, the one downfall that you're going to have is, of course, you're going to have a little bit of stick drift, because if you move your dead zone too low, you are going to have a little bit of stick drift. But the thing is, as opposed to the other dead zone, your move stick dead zone, as far as your look stick, you can actually have a little bit of stick drift and it actually be a net positive. Now, for the reason being is because the lower dead zone you play, the more responsive everything feels. And if you play on a low look stick dead zone, everything's going to feel super responsive. So your aim, your editing, and your building is going to feel really strong. Now on a 5%, my stick drift feels a little bit too strong, but so say here I want to put it on a 8%. What's going to happen is you're going to notice I do have a little bit of stick drift, but it's really not that bad and it is controllable, because the only time you notice stick drift is when you're standing completely still, or if you're not moving your analog stick whatsoever. But a lot of times when you're playing Fortnite, you're constantly looking around, so you're not going to really notice the stick drift whatsoever. And plus, playing on that little bit lower dead zone is going to make everything feel responsive. So as you saw on 8%, I have just a slight bit of stick drift. But what happens is if I move up my dead zone to a 11%, what happens is I don't have any stick drift whatsoever. So as you can see, I'm currently on 11%, and so you're going to notice that I'm not going to have any stick drift if I'm just looking slightly up, slightly down, or even to the sides. I don't have any stick drift, but one thing that I clearly noticed, and you guys will as well when you raise your dead zones, everything felt a lot slower, everything felt a lot less responsive. So even though I don't have any stick drift at all on 11%, I would highly prefer to play on an 8%, and have that little bit of stick drift just so everything feels a lot more responsive, which is going to drastically help me when I'm free building, when I'm editing, or even aiming in this game. So if you guys are looking to improve your mechanics, I think focusing on your dead zones is going to be extremely important to do so. So those are going to be all of my tips and suggestions when it comes to choosing the right dead zones for you. Of course, like I mentioned, everyone's going to have a little bit different of a dead zone depending on how much stick drift they have on what dead zone, because typically speaking, people who have older controllers or controllers they've had for a longer amount of time are typically going to have a little bit more stick drift. It's not always true, but controllers just naturally get stick drift over time because they just get less and less responsive. So when it comes to just choosing the right dead zone, as I mentioned, for your move stick, so that's going to be how you're moving, you want to have no stick drift at all, because it's going to cancel your minis, it's going to cancel your med kit, or just whatever heal that you might have. And when it comes to your look stick, so the analog stick on the right side, when it comes to that dead zone, you want to play on a dead zone that might have a little bit of stick drift, and that way it makes everything feel way more responsive than having, say, a dead zone of which is a little bit higher. It doesn't have any stick drift, but it just feels a little bit slower. So that's just my recommendation. Some of you guys maybe just don't like stick drift at all. But I have seen a lot of people on my live stream mention that I do have stick drift, and that's going to be the reason for it, and it's intentional because I know I have a little bit of stick drift, but at the same time, just all the advantages that I get from having a little bit lower of a dead zone is just such a big advantage, because I'm able to be a lot better when it comes to aiming. I'm able to be a lot better when it comes to building and editing, because everything feels more responsive, and it honestly just feels like I have way more control over my movement altogether as far as looking and as far as aiming in this game. So that's going to be all of my suggestions, and hopefully that cleared up everything as far as my dead zones and why I currently play on the dead zones that I do. Of course, if I have a little bit more stick drift in the past, I might end up raising my dead zones, but as far as the dead zones, it's completely based on your controller and just how everything feels. So it's not like a one size fits all, which possibly could be true with sensitivity. Everyone has their preferences, but as far as your dead zone, it's really just based on your controller. But with that being said, I appreciate you guys watching the video. If you guys could, make sure you guys do drop a like. Make sure you guys do subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. Hit the notification bell so you guys get notified for every single new upload. And as well, I do live stream every single day at 4:30 Eastern Standard Time, so make sure you guys hit that notification bell so you guys will get a notification for when I go live on this channel. I stream every single day here on YouTube. But with that being said, I really appreciate you guys watching the video, and alright guys, I will see you next video.